the definition of a mother, one person who does the work of 20 for free. See also overworked and underpaid. As Mother's Day approaches, we get honest about what women really want and what they can do without.
You're listening to Honest Women, the podcast for every woman who's trying to juggle the relationships, roles, and responsibilities that come with modern womanhood and finding it all just a little harder than she thought it would be. We're your hosts, Andrea Burkly
and Jessica Hutchison, your new besties who just happen to be therapists. And while we believe that life is hard and there's no tip or trick that will solve that, it does get just a little bit easier when we can be real with each other and talk about it honestly.
You're listening to Honest Women.
Hi, friend.
Hi, friend. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm actually really excited to talk about today's topic of Mother's Day.
Oh, man. Heavy hitter.
I think everybody listening has a story.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody listening has feelings, too. I got some feelings about Mother's Day.
I have a lot of feelings, and Mother's Day has historically been an epic failure in my home. I have to be honest, right? It's been kind of an epic failure. And I want to start telling a story from a couple of years ago. And I was standing in our garage. I want to say, I don't know why we were in the garage, but we were in the garage and I jokingly, and if I'm being honest, it was actually very passive aggressive. It wasn't very joking. It was one of those passive aggressive statements. Would tell my husband that Mother's Day is really Grandmother's Day. And here's why. Because what we usually do is we go out to brunch with our tiny humans, and it's fancy brunch. And so you get nice and dressed up. You have to get all of your children dressed up. You have to get yourself dressed up. And what's funny about it is if you look at social media, there's really beautiful pictures on social media of Mother's Day and usually a caption that says something on the lines of, so grateful that I am a mother with these beautiful humans, which I am grateful. But the picture doesn't match what's going on behind the scenes.
No, it does not. Not even close.
Because in reality, that brunch is often extra stressful because it would end with me yelling, trying to rein my kids in, telling them, please sit down. No, that's not what we do. Please don't try to stab your sister with a knife. That's not what we do with the knife. Put it down, please.
Please use utensils, though. Otherwise, please do eat with a fork. That is a thing we've been working on for a lot of years.
Don't stab your brother. Use it to eat the food that is on your plate that you're complaining about at the fancy restaurant where there's nothing that you like because you just want to go to Dunkin' Donuts. And
beautiful moment.
I'm really excited, right? I'm really excited to talk about this whole topic of Mother's Day and what mothers really want for Mother's Day. So talk to me a little bit about what Mother's Day has looked like for you.
Oh my gosh, girl. We do not have a tradition. We don't have a norm. And so for me, Mother's Day just ends up being a thing that kind of sneaks up on us. And the fact that it sneaks up on us hurts my soul. Because even if I'm like, well, we're not planning a big thing or, it's just going to be an easy breezy day. In my heart, I want it to be an important day.
Of course.
In my heart, I have all of these things that I want to feel. My list of things I want for Mother's Day has a lot to do with what I want to feel on that day. And so I think I wouldn't say so much an epic fail, but it's more like a bummer.
Yes.
Just
like a major letdown.
Yeah. Yes. It is. Oh, it is so often.
My husband likes to refer to some holidays as just Hallmark holidays, Valentine's Day being one of them. And
don't tell me that Mother's Day is a Hallmark holiday. I will cut you.
With the knife that I'm taking from my son that's
100%.
trying to stab my daughter.
Yes.
Mother's Day, I think, can be a setup for failure type of day because there's so much emphasis on it has to be wonderful. It has to be great. We have to honor mom. Really, a failure, I think, can feel like a failure for all parties involved. For mom, for partners, for children, for everybody because there's so much hype around it.
And there's this other really tricky thing for Mother's Day where I feel like if it's a beautiful, wonderful day, then there's a part of many of us that wonders, like, why isn't this more my life?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And if it's a bummer, then it's a bummer. And we can feel more unseen, more unknown, more unimportant. And I do think that a lot of times you're splitting. There's a question about who is this day for? And
Absolutely. That is a huge one.
yes, I believe that Mother's Day should be for the mothers that are in the trenches.
Ooh, that's a really good, I'm going to say Hallmark. That's a really good Hallmark card.
Yeah. Carry on, soldier.
Happy Mother's Day because you are in the trenches, therefore you get to be honored today.
I mean, I just think everyone can be honored, but just in terms of like who owns the day, like, do you have little children in your home? Like, I think it should be you. And one more thing is that so often on Mother's Day for the last few years, I feel like I'm so burnt out. I'm so exhausted. I'm so overstimulated on a day-to-day basis that sometimes the truth is I'm like, I just want a day to myself.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And then you feel like a shit mom. Because you're like, literally the only thing I want is to be nowhere near anybody because I do the mothering all day, every day. And then you just feel like your soul is like dead, you know? Like I have this dead, unbeating mother heart, which is another thing that I wrestle with many days of the year. So here we are again, just another day where I feel like a bad mom.
Didn't I think I sent you a text this morning that said I'll get back to you as soon as I get these little assholes out of my house.
You sure did. You sure did.
I was very frustrated this morning. Let's talk about what do we really want? What do mothers, so you and me and the mothers that we know, what do we really want on Mother's Day?
Yes. Love it. Ready.
I want me to start.
Yeah, I do.
Because I was going to.
Yeah, no. Take it away.
I want my family to ask me what I want.
Yeah.
Because you are very correct when you stated it changes. There are some years, or there have been some years, where I do want to go do the brunch. There are other days I want nothing to do with any of them because I am burnt out and I just need a break.
Yeah, absolutely.
And depending on the season of my life, the need changes. So traditions, I don't know that I like them when it comes to Mother's Day. I want it to be a surprise to them every year on what I want to do.
Surprise.
Surprise. Here's what I want.
Like you said, every single season of mothering is different. And what I need when I have an infant is different than what I need when I have a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. What I need when I've got lots of support day to day is really different than what I need when I don't have lots of support every day. I mean, sometimes you're just asking like, hey, can you step in here because I need a break, you know?
Exactly.
But not every year is like that. And I think this connects to something that I want for Mother's Day.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I will, which is to be seen by my family and to know that they see me. And I think even the act of asking, what is it that you want? Or, hey, even better, that they would know what it is that you want. But let's not, again, set everyone up for failure. Let's use our words and say, this is what I want.
Use your words. Yes.
Well, I know I'm not going to try to be a dick about it, but honestly, it just...
No, but it's true.
You know?
Use your words.
This is one of those traps that we can fall into so often in our marriages. And I think on special days like this is if you loved me, you would know. And I don't know. I just want to say no. I don't think that's right.
It's just not accurate. And it changes. It changes. So I like to say, I want you to know how I order my coffee because that usually stays pretty standard. But as far as what I need emotionally and mentally and even physically, that changes a lot.
Yeah. And actually being able to say, this is what I need in this season, or this is what I'd really like, or this is what would make me really happy. And then having someone respond to that. Now that is love.
Yeah.
That is love. I see it. I'm listening and I can respond because I want to, because you matter to me. But even more broadly, and I know this is kind of a lot of the things that I want they're not tangible. So this is an intangible thing. but I just friggin' want to know that they care, that they see what I do day to day. And I feel like so often as moms, we are kind of the stagehands on the play of our lives. It just feels like we're invisible. If I am doing my job well, you don't even know that I'm here sometimes. I mean, it shouldn't be that way, but sometimes that's how it feels, is that I'm just like running in the background. I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like a real human who takes up space, who's appreciated, who's seen as distinct and unique. And how do you give me this sense on Mother's Day? I think asking what you like is important, but just, I don't know, girl, there's just a sense that you have when someone really slows down and looks at you and says, thanks. Thanks, Mom.
Gratitude for somebody to say, hey, I see you. I love you. Thank you.
Real specific. The more specific, the better, actually.
Thank you. That's where my kids would probably lose me because they'd be like, thank you for only yelling 10 times yesterday and not 15. And I'd be like, ooh, that hit the mom guilt.
I know. Yeah, maybe even I need to know that they see what I do.
Yeah.
That's really important. That's like moving from stagehand to actually being acknowledged. But I also want to be seen for who I am.
Yes. And being honored for your strengths. Because I think so often in motherhood, our weaknesses get pointed out. Why can't you be like so-and-so? Why can't you do this? Why can't you come to this thing at my school? It's a lot of that and a lot less, wow, look at how much you're managing on a day-to-day basis. Thank you.
Or you're really smart, Mom, or you always make us laugh, or any of these things about who you are. You're the best.
Yeah, you're the best.
That's what I want to hear.
I just want to hear, I just want them to tell me I'm not messing them up. How about that? Yeah. You're doing a really great job, and we're going to only talk about you a little bit in therapy one day.
100%. Like, you don't need to put away as much money for my future therapy as you are. It's going to be fine.
Like, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Right. Yeah.
So validation.
Okay, yes, validation for sure. Validation is the name of the game, man. Name of the game. So I have a couple that I'll weave together into one specific topic. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Drum roll, please.
I want to have my basic needs met. So a perfect day for me would involve me being able to get enough sleep, to eat some healthy food, to be able to move my body. And what I want is the autonomy to decide how, when, where I do those things. And also to not decide anything for anybody else that whole day. Ooh. That's what I want.
Okay, can I ask you a question? I'm going to challenge you a little bit.
Oh, God. Okay.
I know, you know I'm going to. Would you be able to let go of the control of the things that you usually do that day to let people do it for you?
Yeah, I don't want to do any of my normal things that day.
So if you usually cook breakfast and it's, I don't know, something with a little, little protein, little fruit, whatnot, you'd be okay if it was candy bars because it was taken care of.
Oh, God.
See?
Why are you asking me this question?
Because I'm trying to make sure we also don't set ourselves up to be disappointed.
Yeah. Okay. That's very fair. So I want you to do a good job.
So do it like I do it, but just don't make sure it's not me doing it.
I just don't want to have to do it.
Absolutely.
I mean, hey man, if you cannot like scramble some eggs and give me some fruit, then let's go out for breakfast. That's fine.
There you go.
Or maybe not. I just know that I don't want to be the one who is planning out 3 meals for the day, who's saying we go here first and then go there. What I really want is to be, in a way, kind of separated from everything else that the family needs and to be able to pop in during the points of the day that feel good to me.
Ooh, I like that.
I want autonomy. I want to be able to say, I am going to come and join breakfast now. I mean, I'm going to come join breakfast, but I want to feel like I'm a person who can make choices. So often I feel like I'm a person who just is planning for everybody else and reacting to whatever requirement is in front of me. Does that make sense? I feel like I don't choose any minute of any day a lot of times. And I want to feel like I choose. So this might look like I want to go to sleep at the time I want to go to sleep the night before. I want to wake up when my body wakes me up. Now, that's possible for me at this stage because my youngest child is 5. I understand that's not possible for everyone, but again, it's what stage you're in. So I'd like to wake up when my body wakes me up without any guilt. I mean, the guilt on the inside is something I have to deal with. But I don't want to hear any, oh, so nice for you to join us. No, kiss my grits,
Ooh, that
man.
is the
Mm-mm.
worst passive aggressive statement there is, which I
Oh,
am guilty of
God.
saying as well. I will own
Uh,
that.
Me too.
Totally
We're
own that.
all assholes.
We're
I don't
all
know.
assholes.
Me too. But on my day,
Yes,
pull out your best, right? I want to be able to have a healthy breakfast that somebody else made for me. This is one of my basic needs. I want to be able to say, I want to go for a walk today. Maybe I want to go for a walk with you, moving my body. This is something that I need. Maybe I want to go for a walk by myself. I just want to be able to choose. And I think some of that too is not having a really heavily scheduled day.
absolutely agree with you on that one. Overscheduled is a
Mhm.
recipe for disaster.
Right. Because there's no choice in it. There's no, what would I like to do next? There's no, hey, I'm reading a great book and I'm just going to close my door for a couple minutes and read
Mm-hmm.
or take a nap. I'm tuning into what it is that I want and I'm going to do that. That's what I want for Mother's Day. Basic needs met, autonomy, like feel like I'm a person who gets to make decisions, and not being the cruise director for everybody else that day. That's what I want.
That sounds like a pretty great day.
Right?
Yeah, it sounds like a really great day. Maybe we should just spend Mother's Day together. I can do that for
Oh
you.
my
I
gosh.
can totally do
I
that for you.
love this. I actually think that we need to have like a secret Mother's Day that's like the next week. And we spend, you know how it is. We spend the day doing the things that we do that are unpleasant on actual Mother's Day. And then we go and do a day with our
Oh,
friends.
it would be
It doesn't have
so
to be
great.
something fancy. You could just meet for coffee. You'd be like, I'm going to be gone for the next 6
Or we
hours.
could literally go get a hotel room and just sleep and watch bad TV all day.
Hell
Doesn't
yeah.
that sound amazing?
That sounds
That just sounds
amazing.
amazing right
That
now
sounds
today in
amazing.
this moment because it's rainy outside here and it's gloomy and gross. So again, it changes based on circumstance, based on season of our life, based on the needs of our children, based on how we're feeling. There's so many different things, which I will say sounds more complicated than it actually is.
Right. Right. How we can navigate those changes is being able to tune into our own selves. I just think most of the time we are not tuned into our own selves because we are really busy tuning into everybody else.
Absolutely.
And Mother's Day could be a good opportunity to practice this skill. Hey, I'm a real person who exists. And if I check in with myself about what's going on in me, I'll know what to do. Okay, so I have one more thing that I want for Mother's Day. And this is a little bit different than the years where I just needed a break, where mothering was so hands on that I just needed to not have hands on. But I want to be able to enjoy the sweetest moments of the day with my kids.
Hmm.
And again, my husband wants that list, right? So he's like, what are those moments? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know until I get there. But part of me being able to enjoy a moment with my children is maybe being able to pull away from those more routine day to day things. Maybe I'm not having to break up the fights for the day, or I'm not having to make the school lunches for the day. I've got enough margin and bandwidth to feel ready to engage. And, maybe that is bedtime with my youngest, reliably a good moment. We get to snuggle and read stories and giggle and say goodnight and say stay in bed.
Don't get out of bed.
But it's a sweet moment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is taking a car ride with my older boys because it's a great time to talk. I don't know. But I want to be able to enjoy the sweetest moments of the day with my kids. And for me, I think that will involve some not having to be responsible for the not sweet moments just for that day.
Okay, so now going through kind of talking about what you want for Mother's Day and what I want for Mother's Day, how do we get there? And I want to point out that how we get there is not a how do I do things better? It's more how do I not feel disappointed on this day? What does that look like? So a couple years ago, that same moment that I began this episode with, I had a little bit of a not so pretty meltdown, saying to my husband when he was telling me what we were going to be doing for Mother's Day, I looked at him and said, this has nothing to do with me. It's not about me. And I proceeded then after that moment to make decisions for myself a little bit. And it's transitioned from there. So there was one year that it was really gloomy and rainy outside, but I just wanted to go buy flowers to plant. And I went by myself to the garden store place where you buy flowers. And I got a number of calls from my daughter on my husband's phone who she literally said to me, it is Mother's Day. You are a mother and I can't believe you don't want to be with your children.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Ouch.
And I think I said, yep, no, see you in a little bit. Bye. And there was another year that I decided to go shopping by myself. We went and did the brunch thing. And then we got back and I said, bye. And I went shopping by myself. But here's what I want to point out. Those years were really, really stressful and not great, even though I chose to do something for myself. Here's what I learned. I learned that each year my needs change. And if I don't speak up and say a little bit about what my needs are around that time, it's just not going to go well. And I will own that I can be a little bit of a control freak in this sense. So there are decisions I want to make, but I have to own that piece of it to say, no, if I want to go to brunch, I want to choose to go to brunch and I will choose where we're going to go to brunch.
I think that's fair. I don't think somebody else has to make all of the decisions. I just think that meeting the basic needs of everybody else is something that I don't want to do. Saying, I want to go to brunch and this is my favorite restaurant and I like to go at 10:30. Hey, that's just speaking up for yourself. But maybe not having to do all of the rest of the daily grind stuff makes that day a little bit more special.
I don't want to clean. I don't want to clean up.
I don't want to get ready for school on Monday.
No.
Somebody else can do that.
I had to really get honest with myself for Mother's Day and evaluate what my own expectations for the day were in order to see and understand how to not set my own family up for failure.
Yeah. Because that is really what we want. We want it to be a good day. We want it to be a good day. And I think sometimes that day, or even kind of taking this inventory with yourself, can help us as moms, as women, to recognize areas where our life might be a little out of whack on a day-to-day basis. We were driving in the car talking about this topic a little bit, myself, my husband, and our 4 kids. And when I said something like, I want autonomy, the ability to make decisions, my husband chimed in, just that day? I'm like, no, bro, I want that every day. I want to be able to have my basic needs met. He's like, but just Sunday, right? No, every day. And so, we can tune in to ourselves and be really clear about what we want on that specific day. But we might also tune into ourselves and recognize, hey, I do have some unmet needs. I'm dragging them around day after day after day. And what I need, yes, is something very specific on this day, or what I want is something very specific on this day. And this day isn't going to solve all of my problems, all of my feelings, if it doesn't kick off some change, if we find that change needs to be made. If we have all of the weight of everything that I want to be different in my world on one day, then that's another way that we set ourselves and our families up for failure. Because if I'm exhausted, sleeping in an extra hour, it's going to feel nice, but damn, that's like the first time when your baby sleeps through the night and your husband will say,
oh, it's like heaven.
Yeah, it is like heaven. And he'll be like, well, why are you so tired? Oh, I don't know, bro. The other 8 months where this didn't happen, right? This nice stuff happening for one day is not going to solve any massive debts that have built up over a long period of time. And so maybe this gives us an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I think I need a little more choice every single day. Hey, you know what? I think I need you to notice the things that I do to keep us all alive on a more regular basis. Or you know what? I think that we need to take turns sleeping in an extra hour on the
I
weekend.
love
You
that.
can take Saturday and I'll take Sunday.
I love that. Make it about life, not just the one day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopelessly optimistic about Mother's Day this year. So even though it took a lot to get to this year, a lot of meltdowns by me, some meltdowns by my kiddos, some probably feeling like it was an epic failure for my husband a couple times. You know, this is the first year that I just made a reservation where I want to go with my family, us four, our little cohesive unit, and sent my husband the reservation. And he now communicates with others because we do want to see other mothers in our life. It's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about not seeing others. It's about feeling as seen as those other mothers do.
Yes.
Or feeling like a priority. And after brunch, then it's kind of an open house with his side of the family because mine's not here. Kind of stop in whenever you want, very casual. And we'll get to see these other very important women in my life. But I got to make a choice. I got to make a choice for how a portion of that day is going to look. And I wish I didn't take those meltdowns and the passive aggressive comments, but I sometimes have to learn the hard way. And really, it's amazing when you truly ask directly for what you need, how people in your life can step up.
Yeah. And I don't have a specific plan yet for this day. As you can tell, I'm still more in the intangible stage. But I think by taking some time to think about what I want it to feel like and tuning in just a little bit more to what I want for the day, I hope that we can co-create a day that feels good like that. A peaceful, relaxed pace day where I feel seen and appreciated by my family, however structurally that happens.
I love it.
I love it too. So for the women who are listening today, who have Mother's Day just a few days away, maybe the plans have been made, that ship has sailed, or maybe you have the chance to speak up. Maybe you can steal a little bit of time in that day for you. Maybe you can just share ahead of time, hey, I don't always say what I need. Or hey, maybe this day hasn't always gone well, but here's what I'd like. And this would make me feel really special and give the people in your world the opportunity to step up and care for you.
And if it ends up coming out a little passive aggressively, it's okay.
It's okay
it will
too.
work out eventually.
Amen. You've just finished an episode of the Honest Women podcast. We are so honored that you would spend this time with us. We have so much more where this came from and don't want you to miss a minute. So please, right now, take a second to follow the show. While you're there, leave us a 5-star rating and a review. It's the best way to help other women find our show so they can join the conversation. And if you have a friend who could use a little more honesty in her life, and who couldn't, send this episode directly to her. Actually, send this episode to anyone you want to. Everyone's welcome here. We'll be back next Wednesday speaking some truth and feeling some feels. Until then, hang in there, ladies. This has been Honest Women.